So I've played around with the shape of the bodice a little bit more now to get closer to something I'm a bit happier with. I hope you've done the same. But we've got basically the same sort of patterns in there. What we're going to do now is look at adding in curves and also using internal lines to help enhance shapes and features. Now the main area I want to add a curve in is up here over her chest. Yes, the point does represent more of an evil character, but I think for this particular dress it might be nice to add in a curve there. So what we're going to do, I'm going to turn on sync just so that this is synchronized with there. What we have here is we have various curve tools. I mean, the point tool, you can use that as just a general tool just for adding in points. You can then change them into curves, but that's more a general point adding tool. So what we can do is we can use this edit curvature brush and pretty much just select a point and pull it until we reach a curve. Select another point, pull it like so until we achieve a curve. So there you can see we've got our curve. And then we can click here, which is the edit curve point button, and you can actually see the points that it's created basically to dictate those curves. And because we've got snapping on, we can just tidy this up by just moving and dragging those so they're nice, in sort of a nice, get a nice curve to it, and also snap these to the grid so that we can work with them, well, in a much cleaner way. So we've added one curve to one side, and unfortunately it's caused this to fall down, so let's just reset that. But you can see the curve there. Let's do the same at the other side. We'll just select an edge, drag it out, select another edge, drag it out, and then we can use our curve edit point button just to pull these down, snap them. And also by using the snapping tool, we can ensure that that curve there is exactly the same as that curve there. So now if we synchronize that, now the problem we do have is now it's falling down a lot, and it's getting difficult to keep these straps up. So another option that we could do is we could also strengthen this upper part of the bodice. And what that does is it just makes that area a bit less flexible. So let's just select all the upper part here. In this window, in the 3D view, we're just going to right click. Again, it's off the bottom of the, off the top of the view. Right click and strengthen up here. That turns those orange. So let's simulate now. And as you can see, that's a lot more rigid. So it's allowing that area there to keep its shape better. Now we have our curves here, which is fine. We could pull this up just over her shoulder a bit better. We've strengthened this area because we want it to keep its shape a bit better. We can still edit it though. We can still pull these down like so. But maybe we want to add a bit more to this, maybe a crease underneath here as well, just to emphasize the cup a little bit more. Now the problem is if we create another point here, it's just going to create another pattern. But instead we can use these internal line tools. Now if we use an internal circle, let's just say we drag that there. As you can see, it's created this internal shape on the pattern. What we can then do is, if we wanted to, we could right click, convert to hole, and that's now created a hole in that pattern. It's not what we want, but that option is there. Let's just delete that then, because we don't want that particular pattern there. So what we could do is just select our internal polygon line tool and just snap a point there, snap a point pretty much underneath that one, And then we double click to finish the curve. Then we'll use our curve tool again, just like we did up here. We'll pull out those curves and then we can go in and edit those points. And if we wanted to, we could match it with the point above. Or something like that. And then maybe we pull this point up slightly or down a bit. Oh well, maybe we just leave it there. And as you can see in this view here, we've now got this extra line. So let's just reevaluate that. Pull this up. Over a shoulder. So we've got that curve there, but now what we can do is we can select these edges, and over here we have these options. Now we can turn this into a fold by adjusting the fold strength, the fold angle, and the fold angle. If we turn that off, you just make it out here, as it's turning it into a fold, and it's enabling that on or off. We can also make that edge elastic, so if we turn this on, it's going to pull that together. If we turn it off again, it's relaxed. We enable elastic and it's pulling that edge in, almost like it's elastic. And again, we have other options down here. We can make the elastic stronger, like so. We can also adjust the ratio, so it's pulled in further or it's a lot looser. Just like we can with the fold strength, we can adjust the strength, and we can also adjust the angle so that the fold is an internal fold or an external fold. And at this stage we can start to think, well, the simulation's looking a bit blocky, so let's maybe change that. So if we select all of the patterns, look in our property editor. Now basically, if it's orange, it means that that particular value is different on lots of the elements that you've got selected. So we know that elastic is different because we enabled it on this curve here. And also length is different, which we know all the line lengths are different anyway. So let's just minimize that. What we want to do is look at the simulation properties just temporarily. At the moment, particle distance is set to 20. So if the particles are quite far apart, it's not going to take as long to simulate. And as you can see, it's quite quick as well. But what we could do is we can change that and drop it down to 10. That will increase the density of the particles, and it should take slightly longer to calculate. But as you can see, we've got a slightly different result. Now there's more geometry in there to work with. As you can see, it's not as easy to pull these around. Let's just drop that down. But this is more close to the render quality, I should say, rather than a preview quality. And we can just pull these around. And sometimes when you're working on an area, you'd work on a larger particle distance just to block it out. I think what we might do now is just take a quick break, and we'll continue looking at these particle distances in the next video.